straight swing, we just played 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This lesson is all about the difference between straight and swing eighth notes. And at first it's really easy to hear, but it's not that easy to get into your playing sometimes. So here's a cool example of swing. We'll play exactly the same thing. Sort of a hit the road jack kind of groove. I'll go back to the straight eighth here. Playing the same exact notes, but one of them goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. The other one has a bounce to it. It has sort of a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So Richard, this is Richard Fulton, by the way. He's joining me for this lesson, and welcome to the Swing and Straight Eighth Lessons for Ukulele Magazine. What I'd like to do is get your ears going right away in this lesson. So rather than learning a bunch of stuff like we normally do, we're going to actually learn to listen first, and then put it into our right hands, especially for the strumming. So since it's almost Christmas and it's the winter edition, let's start with Jingle Bells. Take a listen to this. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. You hear that's almost robotic, jingle bells, jingle. That's a straight eighth note. Jingle bells. Why don't you join me, Richard? Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle. Now that's a little bit robotic, of course, but just to get the idea, if we did that as a swing, it turns into something, some people have done this as a swing before. It's not terribly palatable though. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Fun, in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, so that one doesn't sound as good as the straight Jingle Bells. You'll notice lots of other Christmas carols or folk music that does have a swing to it. If you take the word jingle by itself, jingle, 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 jingle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Those are straight eighth notes. They just go by bum, 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 bum. If you take a swing eighth note, it's actually hiding inside of a triplet. And we've got all the notation in the lesson, but if you listen to it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It's almost like, this comes from doo-wop progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now if you take those three notes and you just use a couple of them, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That'll give the idea of how the swing works. So instead of playing an easy straight 1 and 2 and, we're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's kind of hard to count, so we're just going to say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And that'll give us a real basic easy swing. 1 and 2. So let's speed that up a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3. Nice jazzy stuff. If we go to straight eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, you can really hear the difference. Okay? So counting an eighth note, and eighth notes, of course, the reason there are 8 of them is because if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in a measure, and then you add, here's a half note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So there's 2 of those. Here's a quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are going to be 4 quarter notes in a measure of 4, 4. Now, eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. But those are hard to count, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. You play a scale with just straight eighth notes. Let's try that together. And now let's do it swing style, but instead of having to write a triplet for every single one of them, what they do is they take eighth notes and then they say quarter note equals, and they put a triplet pattern. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now one each note. Bum, 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 bum. swinging them on the page, when it says swing feel, it means that those eighth notes, even though they're written straight, will sound like this, as opposed to straight. Okay? Now, if you're going to play like a blues, that's a really good way to tell the difference between swing. Let's take this guy, and you're used to probably it's called a shuffle feel, and it is a swing feel. That one. We'll do exactly the same thing, this time with straight eighth notes. So you'll hear the blues, bum, 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 bum. It's going to be bum, 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 bum. This is more of a, almost a rock feel. To swing. You can see there's a big difference between those two. We're playing exactly the same notes, but we're changing the rhythmic feel. In the lesson itself, I've got a couple examples that are fun to listen to the difference. The Farmer in the Dell is a super old folk song. A lot of old folk songs have this sort of feel to them. Swing-wise, if we're strumming, it's going to be down, up, down, up, down. Straight eighth is like this. You can also do it all downs, down, 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 just for straight eighth style. Let's do the Farmer in the Dell once as a swing, and then we'll do it with straight eighth notes, and it'll sound like a bad 80s song. Check it out. The Farmer in the Dell. Now let's take a song that's normally straight eighth. Here's an old favorite. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? 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 You can put that into a rock groove. If you do it as a swing, most people will think that we are the drunken sailor. If you listen to it, what shall we do? Guys to do is to get into this and really check up and down. If you are stuck with a little swing to begin with, a lot of ukulele players, we get into a group and then we'll sing, you notice this pattern here? Oh, my sunshine, my only sunshine, you make me happy. So that can get stuck inside your playing, and you can play everything with sort of a dangerous lilt that we don't want. If you notice, straight eighth music a lot of times is Latin music. Let's do a little bit of Latin music. Here's a rumba, and we're going to do You're My Sunshine as a rumba. So if you're listening, instead of going bum, 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 we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Sunshine, my only sunshine, make me happy when the skies are gray. You listen to that? 1 and 2. Now let's go to swing. would suggest going back and checking out how you do play. Play a bunch of songs that you already know, and then try to go back and forth with the swing and force some straight eighths onto stuff that is normally swing and the other way around, and you really start to feel it and pull it in and make it part of your groove. So enjoy your lesson. Thank you, Richard.
Well done. Thank you. Thanks for having me.